Once you can't get out of that 15-minute city, do you not think that will shatter that illusion of freedom at that point? Do you think they're clever enough to be able to mask it at that point? Because for me, that would be the ultimate no.
Just to piggyback on that point, though, do you think virtual reality will keep people in their homes and feel like they have freedom because they can don the headset?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, just to pick up that point quickly. The idea, and this is why they're rushing it so fast, because they have to get it in quick before enough people have sussed it to stop it, right? So you get it in quick. They control your money. They control what you can buy. They control through fines where you can go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There comes a point, they don't bloody care if you know, because AI is running the show now, and what are you going to do about it? They don't care. Once they reach a certain point of control through artificial intelligence, they don't bloody care if you know or not. And they're closing in on that now. You know, when you see all the people saying we don't want this, but they do it anyway, they're closing in on that now. But virtual reality is an interesting point. Well, it's interesting for many reasons. If you get caught in the virtual reality world, what is that? That's another stage. Okay, label human, subdividing label human, taking you into cyberspace human. Where is I am infinite consciousness? All it is, has been, and ever can be. Where's that now? It's got your perception completely, and this is an interesting point. The reason that virtual reality is such a relevant thing is we're living in it.
What, we're already in a simulation?
Yeah.
Are we talking the Matrix style simulation?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. The Matrix movie was very accurate in so many ways. Because first of all, those people in the Matrix movie, they went into the Matrix with their mind. They were outside the Matrix. They went in the Matrix with their mind. And this is a mind game that we're dealing with. It's a perceptual control system. And we can talk at the level of censorship and manipulating perception that way. But as you go out, you know, like wisdom is knowing a little we know. So what more do I know? I know. What more don't I know? And you go out and out, you realize that the control of perception is, it's almost laughable. It's so fundamental for this reason. Just after the turn of the millennium, I had this overwhelming feeling from somewhere that we live in a simulation, and that the limit of the simulation at this level, there are other levels, is the speed of light. And that's why the speed of light appears to be the fastest speed. But of course, it's well established that particles can communicate instantly, way beyond the speed of light. But those particles are not communicating in effect within the five-sense reality of the speed of light. They're communicating in other realities. And so I just said that. And I said that what we call the laws of physics are actually the encoded laws of the simulation. So if you're creating a virtual reality game, then you encode within the game the limits of the game and how the game is played, right? That's the laws of physics. And that's why when people have near-death experiences and they leave the body, they leave we'll come to the decoding mechanism of the matrix, which is the body-brain. They describe a totally different reality that doesn't conform to our laws of physics. So I talked about that. And then I started to notice as the years passed that more and more mainstream scientists were starting to talk about the possibility we live in a simulation. When I got that feeling, I looked around for others, and I just found Nick Bostrom at Oxford University. He was talking about this is probably a simulation, but the way he described it was different to the way I see it. But you know, at least he was talking about it. And more people in science have started to talk about it, more and more the nearer we've got to present day. And I read an article in April 2021 in Scientific American by an academic, in which he said that he concluded this is a simulation, and that the limit of the simulation is the speed of light. And he likened the speed of light to processing speed. He says you can encode the rules of the game if you like, but you're still going to be limited by your processing speed. And so this is now becoming more and more talked about, not least because once you realize that this is a simulation, a lot of the mysteries of life disappear and become explainable. So we've had people like Max Tegmark at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he's written a book called Our Mathematical Universe, in which he points out that the physics of virtual reality games are basically the physics of our reality. The same thing, you could be broken down into numbers. And what I'm seeing so clearly now is that this explosion of technology that's playing out is actually mimicking the reality we're experiencing. It's another kind of technological version of what we're experiencing. So, for instance, holographics is getting more and more sophisticated to the point where it's getting closer and closer and closer to being as real as this. You talk about the metaverse and all that stuff. That's just the early stages of that.
So it'd be a simulation inside of a simulation.
Exactly. So where's self-identity now? You're in a maze within a maze within a maze. That's what it's about. It's a perception. This is a perceptual maze that's designed to stop us remembering the true nature of self and believing that we're whatever we're told we are, right?
So right now, do you believe we're in the first layer of the simulation, or could we already be layers deep?
Well, I think we're in this human level of the simulation, and so what's decoding the simulation? Well, the body is, and the body's designed to do that. Again, this is mainstream science. You talk about the five senses. The five senses are basically what lock us into the matrix. When you perceive the world through the five senses, you're decoding the matrix. And so you are looking, again, mainstream science, at a situation where the five senses pick up frequency information. And the easiest way of describing how this works, again, the computer technology is mimicking it, is a computer and Wi-Fi. So the simulation is actually a field of information. It's not a construct. It's a field of information, like Wi-Fi. And what the body is doing, the five senses and the brain are doing, is decoding that information into this reality, which we experience as outside of us, but is actually in here. And so if you look at how it works, again, like I say, mainstream science, the five senses pick up waveform information from this field of information, like Wi-Fi. And it turns it into electrical information. I mean, sound waves are a classic with the ears, but they all work like that, including the eyes. They turn these frequencies into electrical information, and then they are communicated to the brain. And there's different parts of the brain that specialize in the different senses, and they decode those senses and create a reality. And so we perceive the world outside of us, and we perceive it to be solid. It's holographic, digital holographic. This is what this reality is in here. It's an illusion of physicality. And what we're doing is what computers do, which is mimicking our reality. So you say to people who know nothing about computers, that there is a field of information in this room, that if you tap into it, you can tap into a whole worldwide reality, which you can tap into in South Africa, in America, in Britain, anywhere. And if people didn't know about computers and Wi-Fi, they'd say, you're bloody mad, mate. Where is it? I can't see it, right? Well, you can hardly see anything. And then you say to them, so tell me about the internet. They'll say, well, it's videos and graphics and pictures and words on the computer screen. Yes, it is, but only on the computer screen.
That's the decoder.
Everywhere else, the internet does not exist in that form. It's a Wi-Fi field or it's electronic codes, etc. And then you think, well, where is that? Where is that decoded version of the Wi-Fi field? It's in the computer. It's not here or here or here. It's inside the computer. It's mimicking the fact that this reality is inside here, right? And so you say to someone who does know about computers, that basically this and Wi-Fi, the same thing. You say, oh, there's a field of information in this room that you can put on a computer screen, and they go, yeah, absolutely, yeah, Wi-Fi. I know about Wi-Fi. Yeah, everyone knows about Wi-Fi. This is the point. The only difference between I know about Wi-Fi and your mad mate is knowledge. That's all it is. So if you can suppress knowledge, you get people to wave away the idea of what's actually happening as a nonsense and impossible, as long as you control their sense of what is possible. So, if you look at these different encoded sequences within our reality, like pi and the Fibonacci number sequence, the fractal patterns which relate to the principles of holograms, of golden mean, golden section, divine proportion, all these things, where whether it's the way a plant grows, the way a tree grows, the way a storm develops, or the proportions of the human face, they just recur everywhere. I say they're computer codes. That's why they recur everywhere. They're computer codes within the simulation, and the genetic code is a computer code. And so you've got the Wi-Fi field of the matrix, and then you've got the body biological computer that decodes the Wi-Fi field into this reality. And that's the level of perceptual illusion that we're being subjected to. Now, this cult over here at the inner core knows that. Much of the cover army within the cult doesn't know that, but the inner core knows that. It doesn't want the public to know that. And imagine the perceptual power of control and manipulation if you know that and they don't. And like I say, the way that we're manipulated is just so vast and fundamental. But the answer is always the same. We take control of our perceptions back. If you have a dream and it's a dream. Have you ever had that? I have quite a lot of them.
Like a lucid dream.
Yeah, well, you're in a dream, but you're aware it's a dream.
Yeah.
So the dream stops having an effect on you. You're now observing it. It's not like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh God, it's a cliff. Oh my God. You're just observing it because it's a dream. It's an illusion. If you can get to a point in this reality where, okay, we're in this reality because the body is decoding it, because that's why this is the only reality that most people ever see, because it's being decoded for them. But you're in this world in that sense, but you're not of this world because you know what it is. It's perceptual trickery. And you don't get pulled in with the drama and all the things that pull people in. And then, they realize they were irrelevant, but they pulled them in at the time. You start to step back and observe reality instead of reality controlling you and dictating everything. And the more that you reach that point where you become an observer, the less and less control this reality has over your emotions and over your perceptions.
Would you call yourself a glitch in the matrix then?
I hope so. It's glitches in the matrix. What are they?
It's like deja vu, stuff like that.
But they're things. They are perceptions in this case that do not reflect the matrix program. So it starts to disturb the program. And the more people that, and of course, I mean, you know, people say, oh, I wish there were more people awake. Well, yeah, so do I. But my God, if I go back to 1990, 91, and I mean, I couldn't fill a phone box with interest. The key reason why perceptions matter is perceptions generate frequencies. This is mainstream science. And the frequencies we give off relate to the nature of the emotions and the thoughts that we have. So fear and anxiety and depression and resentment and regret, all these things are low, slow frequencies. And joy and happiness are very high frequencies, are very much more powerful frequencies, actually. And so if you can manipulate through this simulation the vast majority of the human population into low frequency states, then they're giving off those frequencies. And one of the things I've learned over the decades is that there are entities in the unseen, very close to this reality, but outside of it visually, that feed off those energies. There's a great line in the first Matrix movie where the Morpheus character makes a statement that is probably the truest statement ever made in a fictional movie, not fictional really. He held up a battery and he said, the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to turn humans into one of these. And we are being turned into energetic generators of low vibrational energy, which these entities, which are called the demonic in various religions and cultures, they feed off that. And if you can keep creating wars and conflict and suffering and deprivation and stuff, you are going to generate enormous amounts of this energy, which is what they're feeding off. And so if you look through history, it's just been one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. And if you travel the world too, I mean, I've been over 60 countries or so now, the last 34 years. Most of the human race is not having a good time. They're trying to survive another day, kids in mines and, you know, most of it in Africa and South America, Central America, Asia and all that stuff. They're not having a good time. And therefore, they're in these low vibrational states, giving off this energy, which these demonic entities are feeding off. So that is one part of why a massive part of why this simulation has been constructed. It's been constructed to control perception so that it generates that low vibrational energy, which they feed off. And the idea to attach AI to the human brain is to artificially invoke that those perceptions to generate that energy. But if you are in an audience, which is the kind I speak to, that is starting to awaken beyond the program and start to tap into consciousness, high vibrational consciousness, then, and especially when you're stimulating that by the presentation you're doing and the information that you are presenting, then that high vibrational energy comes off the audience. And of course, it becomes an amazing electromagnetic field.